I know that you like guns.
Yes, like.
You pose with them a lot. I think you pose more with them than men.
For sure, yeah. I would say, yeah.
Do you have an affinity for one or the other, handguns as opposed to rifles, or? I'm Thom Naylor. Hanging out with porn stars and showgirls is fucking awesome. But how much do we really know about them? Join me on the Side Piece Podcast, where we sit down with them and hear some of the craziest stories from inside the industry. I look forward to seeing you, and follow me on the Side Piece Podcast. All right, welcome back to the Side Piece Podcast. My guest this time is going to be a good friend of mine and an old friend of mine, without giving away any ages.
Old?
Yes, old. No, older. No. She is a feature performer, an aerialist. She's a pole champion. She's an instructor. She's got a long list of entertaining attributes, and her name is none other than the Natasha Nova.
Hi.
Hello, how are you?
Good.
Good to see you.
I'm happy to be in the Capitol, hosting the something 100th Hunger Games.
Oh, yes.
It's wonderful.
That's right. I forgot. It is that time.
You know, you need to have a Hunger Games party. I mean, like, it's only appropriate.
It almost seems like the Hunger Games, considering the way the Capitol is crime-wise now.
Gosh, I mean, you know, we keep getting further into the 2020s, and the styles, everything. I feel like Hunger Games party is appropriate.
You know, maybe that's what we'll do, a theme for you next time.
Yes.
All right.
Oh, yeah.
Let's work on it.
I actually love those books, you know?
See, I never read them.
The first Hunger Games came out, and I had to know, and I binged all of the books.
Oh, really?
Yeah, within, like, the weekend, so that I could find out what happened in, like, the fourth movie. And then I just read the new one of the new movie that came out.
See, I'm always off those trails, because even dating myself, even when, what was it, Harry Potter came out, everyone was saying, like, oh, I'm on the third book, and I'm like, I'm not even on the first page of the first book.
I wish I could say I did Harry Potter. God, when I used to nanny when I was in college, and
who wouldn't want you to be their nanny? I mean, look at you.
But the little boy, he loved Harry Potter, so I used to read him the books. And the difference, I mean, the Hunger Games are still kind of wrote for a younger crowd, but Harry Potter it felt very juvenile when I was reading it to him. So I just never really got into at least the books. But the Hunger Games, I don't know. I think it's the dystopian, like, that I really, really like.
Well, I have a great idea. You're gonna do a voice book cover for me. You're gonna do the Harry Potter series, and you
in my voice, reading it to you.
And I will. Then I can claim I read it.
Yeah.
It'll be by Natasha Nova. So, listen, it's been a while since I've seen you, and I know I apologize to you.
I've been invisible.
I know, but well, I haven't, but I have pretended to be.
Yeah.
I have to apologize. I mean, I apologize to you in person, but on the show, I'd like to apologize because you and I have been friends for a long time.
Yeah.
And I think I get caught up sometimes in just knowing. I've fallen into that Facebook trap where I look at your stuff, I see your Instagram, I think, oh, she's doing great. I'll message something, I'll say something, and I think that's a form of communication, and we're keeping in touch, but we're really not. And I feel bad, but you kind of gave me a pass, and I thank you for that.
Yeah, no, I feel good about it. I kind of do the same. So
I know, but I'm glad. I thank you for giving me that pass. It wasn't deserved, but like I said, I always love talking to you. I love being in your company. And I owe a lot of things to you, as we've talked before on this podcast. You know, one of the main things is you were one of my main pushes to having a Lyra in the club, because I fell in love with you when you were on it, and I just kept thinking, God, she looks so fucking beautiful on there. Like that's a key to have that. And when I put the Lyra in Pittsburgh, and then you would come in, and I almost felt like you were like my instructor. You'd be like, how high is it? Where is it? What's the location of it? What's the diameter of it? How many points of contact? I'm like, God damn, bitch.
Yeah. I will ask all of the questions.
But then I was like, you know what? I learned a lot from you. And I gained a good grasp of what my expectations were from the women that were going to be using it, and not to have them be afraid of it. Because you even showed me moves. And I thought that was a huge comfort zone for even me to know as an operator, to be able to impart that on the women that work for me, and say, like, hey, I got taught this by somebody who really knows their shit, and she was very cool about it. So it's very easy.
You know, well, I mean, honestly, I appreciate that you even ask me questions or listen, because I will have, being a woman in this industry, I will have men come to me about things that I'm an expert on. like aerial dance, like aerial hoop, rigging, things like that. I know a lot about it because mainly it's my own safety.
Yeah.
Right. But like it's what I do. I teach at a studio where I do all of that. But they'll come to me, they'll ask me a lot of questions, and then do none of it.
I was gonna say that it's all lip
and
service.
I'm like, why did why did you even ask me? It's almost like they don't, for some reason, like they still don't believe that I know what I'm talking about, even though it's what I've been doing for 10 years.
Yeah.
So like, no, I really appreciate when somebody hears me, and especially if they go and they then do their own research as well, and they're like, okay, yeah, I can verify, like, it needs to be rated for like this crazy amount of pounds, even
That's
though,
right.
yeah. Like
I remember you giving me all those cues.
Yeah.
And then I remember you telling me to go to like a circus group and ask them.
Mm-hmm.
And that's who I went to, and I found these guys. And I remember the other thing is how many points of contact were going to be in the rig.
Mm-hmm.
And I kept telling them, give me as many as you can give me.
Yeah.
And, for multiple stations or units to be hung. And when I came to DC, I had the same guys come.
Yeah.
And they were like, is this for that same performer? I'm like, well, she will be here. But
Not just for her.
But,
Not just
it was
for me.
definitely, you were in mind at all times. So there's a shout out to you for that.
Yeah. No, I really appreciate that you heard me,
Oh, no,
and you're
definitely.
like, I'm going to take all of that knowledge and I'm going to make it awesome. I don't know if you guys have seen the stage downstairs, but
Well, we joke too, because that's my story about you. But then I have another story with Dan in Miami.
okay.
That when we mentioned
Oh,
you.
geez, Miami.
Yeah, so my memory of Miami that night at the bar was you had just gotten your new breasts. And they were very noticeable because when I saw you, I kept thinking, wait a second, there's something different about her. Because you had like a sweater top on, but it was loose. And then I saw you stand up and I'm like, new tits. That's what it is. And that's when you sat on Dan's lap. And I thought, you know what? Good, I'm free. Dan is busy and I can go do things. And then you turned around and I thought, all right, no, she can sit on my lap too because they are nice. So we were both entertained for a while at the bar. And then you did you one-upped it. You flashed us and you had them out freely in the bar.
It's Miami. I
That's
mean,
right. So once again, I was free of Dan again.
Like that. Like, it's Miami.
Yeah, Dan was entertained. I loved it.
Nobody's offended by boobs in Miami.
No,
No.
especially not those. Those.
Oh, thank you.
They turned out fantastic.
Thank you. I am not mad at them. I like
No.
Yeah.
Shane, are you okay with them? They'll do.
They'll do.
You can just slap him later. So talking
With
about
my boobs.
Yeah, with your boobs.
Yeah.
Talking about boobs, have you had any other body modifications, BBL, anything?
No, I had kind of a bad story that was unfortunate. So I had a deviated septum,
Okay.
and I went to a doctor. I thought I had done enough research to have a septoplasty. So really nothing aesthetically should have been changed. Like just gonna straighten out that deviated septum so
Yeah.
I could breathe a little bit better. Right, as a performer, you're up there. You're breathing hard.
That's what I say as a performer.
As a performer, you're breathing hard. So, totally botched. It
Really?
was like absolutely devastating for me. I didn't really talk about it publicly, but I had if you know anything about nasal surgery, you got to wait about 2 years to have a second one, just because of scar tissue and things like that. So it looks.
I'm
okay
glad you mentioned that
now.
because I need to have that done. Not
But-
for that reason, but I have a sinus issue that just needs to be corrected.
I ended up having to have a complete like reconstruction because the first surgeon he just took apart the insides of my nose and didn't put them back together. It was horrible.
Ooh.
So if you're getting facial surgery, go to a specialist, please.
Yeah, definitely. God, well,
Yeah.
I'm glad. Well, your nose looks great.
Oh, thank you.
So you got it all fixed.
Yeah. It was sad. It was very sad.
Now, I know a lot about you, so I'm going to dive into a lot of things, and we're going to cover some ground.
Okay.
So one thing that I know is that you've been working on a home, home remodeling.
Yeah.
I would take it at this point you are either finished or you are near completion or
Oh,
there's
come
just
on.
more ideas budding.
If you're a homeowner, you know that it's never finished. But a lot of my dreams have come to fruition.
Yeah.
Yeah, I now have like a little mini farm in the backyard, which is super fulfilling and super awesome. I spent
Oh.
most of my summer doing that.
While you're
this
sitting
year.
there, just pull that mic around a little more
Just
towards you.
like that.
Yeah, let's put
Right here.
the big mic right in your mouth. Right near your mouth.
Is this in the way of the camera? Is it- Here?
Yeah.
Right
Oh,
here.
there you go.
Okay.
See how good she looks. So yeah, so now you have this home. You're remodeling.
Mm-hmm.
Remodeling. Did that make you become a homesteader also, or was that kind of like the plan all along?
It was always the plan. I don't think I intended really to stay in the suburbs and do it
Yeah.
originally, but it's just kind of worked out that way. And like, I'm 5 minutes from Starbucks, and I have like chickens and ducks, so like that's pretty cool.
There you go.
You
That's
know,
not bad.
I kind of have everything that I could want, like in a little small area.
Cool. So tell me about your chickens.
Oh my gosh, they're hilarious, tiny little raptors running around my backyard. My neighbors think I'm hilarious. They actually like me. You'd think they hate me because I actually have a rooster.
I was going to ask you, do you have a rooster?
Oh, you can imagine.
Yeah.
But honestly, a rooster, I mean, like, unless you get like a really big breed of chicken, the roosters are no louder than a dog, like a dog barking. So not really that big of a deal.
Now, do you have fancy chickens, or are they?
I do have fancy chickens.
Cool.
All right, they're a little
I'm
bit...
into chickens. That's why. I mean, I have family members that have them. They breed some really wild ones.
Yeah, no, it's so interesting. Like, I have incubators. I make I incubate my own eggs, so I make my own babies, but I make my own babies.
Whoa.
But so you saw me do my show last night.
I want you to make a baby for me.
Oh yeah, I could probably do that. I bet I'd make a cute one.
There you go.
So I did my Cruella de Vil show last night, which was inspired by I got some Dalmatians. I have 2 Dalmatians, and they're so cute.
Oh, did you really?
Oh, they're the best dogs.
So tell me this.
Wild dogs, but the best dogs.
I've heard, and I've had friends that have had them, and they all tell me the same thing. They are puppies forever.
Yes.
Like they're
100.
they're not dumb. They're
no.
just puppies forever.
Yes.
And I've always noticed that.
If that's not your jam, then don't get a Dalmatian. Like, they're definitely a specific kind of dog for a specific kind of person who like wants that. They are just so high energy all of the time, but they are also like so sweet. They're very smart. They're very mischievous, so it's often quite funny.
Yeah.
They're very cuddly. Like, they just have huge personalities. Now, if you want like a couch potato dog,
yeah, see, it's funny.
don't get a Dalmatian. But if you want like some entertainment, some spice in your life, like, they are freaking awesome. I love them.
See,
they're like people, really.
That was one I thought of before.
They have very serious personalities, Dalmatians.
See, yeah, I wanted one a long time ago. Like I always say on the show here, I have a Greyhound and a Black Lab. The Greyhound is a typical Greyhound who's been changed or altered by the Black Lab, because the Black Lab is a needy bitch.
Oh, yeah?
And she is on you forever. She has to know what you're doing at all moments. He could care less. He goes and lays down. He's like, fuck it, whatever. She's like, I got to be in the oven. I got to be in the refrigerator. I got to be in the bathroom while you're shitting. I got to be in the shower licking the water. And I look at it and I'm like, and then I look at my husband and think, why did we get this dog? And then I think, no, you know what? I do love this dog.
Yeah.
But because she's forever there.
Yeah.
And I'm always used to that Greyhound presence where they're just like, I'm here.
Yeah. I exist.
Yeah. So like Dalmatians, I think I would probably enjoy them.
Yeah.
I'd probably bitch a lot, but I'd probably be like, God, these dogs are fun.
Yeah. They are a lot of fun.
It'd be chaos.
Yep. So circling back to the chickens, my chickens were inspired by my Dalmatians. I have black and white spotted chickens.
Okay.
With mohawks. They're
I was
like,
to say, do they have the little mohawk?
Yep, they are like my little punk rock chickens.
Good.
And I'm gonna butcher this name, but they're silver Appenzeller. I want to say.
For a second, I thought you said you were going to butcher them. Just kidding.
Well, I mean, they are chickens.
That's true.
So silver Appenzeller Spitzhaben, maybe.
That's close. I think I've heard of that.
Spitzhaben. Yeah, it means like tiny bonnet.
Yeah.
Which is why their little mohawks are named
Cool.
after. But I've got 2 roosters. One is a complete asshole. Jesus Christ, he likes to attack me. His name is Negan.
Oh.
Okay, from The Walking Dead.
Yeah,
and then my other one,
Dead reference?
my other one, his mohawk kind of overgrew, and it like has like kind of falls down to the side, and he's like constantly switching his head to like get the mohawk out of the way. His name is Chad.
Oh, so he has.
He's my Chad.
What's the word? He has a disposition.
He has he's got a quality. Yeah, he's like all the time. So I've got 2 roosters.
Now the ducks.
Yes.
Now, how many ducks do you have?
4,
Now,
5, 4.
Are they water ducks, or are they like geese, or?
They're water ducks.
The water ducks?
Yeah. I don't know what kind of ducks don't go in the water.
Well,
but
no, I mean sometimes I see ducks that aren't anywhere near water. They're like just like waddling
I
around.
mean, like they're domestic ducks, so
Yeah.
they don't fly. That's actually
Shut
a
up,
difference.
Shane.
Like, so
Or, no, wood ducks and water ducks. What are
Wild-
the difference?
I
See,
think they're all water ducks.
are they all water
They all
ducks?
swim, yeah. I mean, like, so there is a difference between domestic ducks and wild ducks. Like, wild ducks can fly, domestic ducks
Yeah.
generally can't. Mine cannot fly,
Yeah.
so
I know geese are mean as
they're
shit.
much easier to contain than the chickens. The chickens, they like to escape.
Uh-oh.
So
Shane's escaping now too. Now,
Yeah.
now that we're talking about ducks,
Yeah.
he's out. He ducked out.
I'm occasionally that neighbor with a chicken on her roof, which is pretty funny.
Oh,
so,
that's fun
yeah.
though.
Yeah.
You and I would get along as neighbors, I think.
I am definitely the comic relief of the neighborhood for sure.
Don't. We just have some guests.
Oh, okay.
They're just gonna check it out.
Oh, okay.
I just wanted to see this.
Hey, how are you? Good to see you guys.
I just want to see the podcast.
Uh-oh.
We're doing this similar thing in our store.
You're welcome to. So we have guests now.
I know. I Ken and Barbie.
God, stop. I'm gonna cry.
Get ready, because we're going to
Yeah.
pick on you in a second. So tell me too. So you've got this little homesteading, because every time I think about homesteading to myself, me being locked in a condominium in D.C., I have a compost, but it's literally a simply human compost that's hooked onto my garbage can, and I don't know what the fuck to do with it ever.
A human compost?
No, it's called Simply
Compost.
Human.
Oh,
And
so
they
I was
ha-
like, you're composting people?
Oh, see,
I mean,
I thought too, I was like,
I don't blame you.
get ready, get ready.
Okay.
Resin, the whole thing.
Yep.
But yeah, I have this composter, and I'm like, I don't know what to do with it. Like, where do I go with it? But so maybe we can talk about that later. You can tell me what to do with my compost. 'Cause I'm putting banana peels in there, thinking like
yeah,
I'm doing the environment a big deal.
I'm not real sure here.
Yeah, see.
Like, I could tell you a little bit about composting, like on your own property on the ground.
All I
but-
know is it makes my kitchen stink.
Yeah.
So between that and the dog shitting occasionally in the house.
Yeah.
I'm
Do you
thinking-
like houseplants?
We have a ton of them. My husband has
speaking
a
of-
huge green thumb.
Oh yeah.
It's-
Speaking of composting,
That sounded weird.
coffee grounds in
Yeah.
your plants, and not like all the time, clearly, because there can always be too much of a good thing. But coffee grounds is like awesome for gardening. I use them outside for like my vegetable garden, but
Well, we'll circle
houseplants
back
as
to
well.
chicken, because I use chicken eggs. We grind 'em up and
Yeah,
put 'em
no,
in
the
there.
calcium is like
Yeah.
mhm.
See. Yeah. Maybe I need a chicken.
That would be so
There's a little
cute.
chicken running around the house.
Oh my goodness, you should. I follow a TikToker. She's like a nurse or something, like a OBGYN nurse, and she's got
Yeah.
a house chicken.
See.
Yeah, I mean, like it.
I'm gonna ask about that. Maybe I need a house chicken.
Yeah, you gotta put diapers on them, but I mean,
Oh no.
yeah,
Okay. I can't do
because
it.
you can't potty train them. But
No?
they're very funny.
Oh, because I thought maybe they'd do litter or like a pad.
No,
No, they're just not that smart.
no, they're not smart. That's why we eat them. God love them. They're fun, but they aren't smart.
So we covered your chickens, your ducks, your dogs. Any other animals living with you?
I've had a German Shepherd for eternity.
I know. I was gonna say you have your
Yeah.
German Shepherd.
My German Shepherd, my Dalmatians.
I wasn't sure I was gonna ask because I thought.
Oh no, he's old, but he's
Yeah, I was
good.
gonna say.
He's still scary. Yeah.
Good. He's a
He
good-looking
will-
dog.
He will bite someone for sure.
So let's talk about Natasha Nova, the performer, and then we'll get back to your home stuff
Okay.
because I have some more questions about your house.
Okay.
So you took a little time off, but obviously you're a pole champion. You did expose
Mhm.
and a bunch of other things.
Yep.
Do you want to get back into full competition again, or have you kind of moved past that?
Oh no, I definitely still want to compete. I
Yeah.
just, I've been doing this for a little over 7 years, maybe longer than that, and I just needed some me time, really.
Yeah.
Enjoying this summer. I realized I hadn't been home in Kentucky, and Kentucky summers are beautiful.
Yeah.
I hadn't been home in years. In 2019, right before COVID, I was in a different city every weekend.
I was going to
every
ask you. You
single
were traveling
weekend.
a lot then.
I was, and I love that, and I have no complaints about that. But I just I was like, dang, like I need some time for myself. Like
Yeah.
not even like a full break. I was like, I just want to do something that I enjoy for a little while, and without the pressure of traveling. And so, yeah. I
Now,
took
do you
some
think
time off.
COVID made you lazy, or do you think COVID made you kind of like reevaluate and say like, you know what, I do just need some me time and to kind of.
I think, yeah. I don't want to admit that COVID made me Oh God, 'cause it made me crazy the first 3 months. I
Yeah.
was stuck in the house. I was absolutely going crazy. But I started really finding hobbies that I loved
Yeah.
during COVID. Like I always gardened, but just kind of passively. So I got very into it, like about how to preserve seeds and things like that. And I started doing like all kinds of home remodeling and like learning. It's so simple. So many things are so simple, like, putting in new baseboards, like very simple. You just, especially if you just look on YouTube, it's pretty easy to figure out how
Yeah.
to do it. And so I like completely remodeled my house, and like I don't think I would have had that urge, that push to learn to do it all by myself without being
See, I would
stuck
have
at
pushed
home.
you at that point to do a topless hand, like home remodel.
Oh, I did that a little. I have
Oh,
some videos.
Oh, see? I knew
Yeah.
it. I knew
Yeah.
it. Okay, so that's
Yeah, especially when I was like
Those I wanna
grinding,
see.
sanding, and stuff. You don't have to wash clothes you're not wearing. So
No, hey.
yeah,
I knew there'd be video.
yeah, sexy respirator and like no clothes.
Good. I'm going to hold you to it. I want to see that.
Okay, yeah.
But yeah, so, some people came out of that. I mean, you as a performer, obviously, you do a lot of floor acrobatics.
Mhm.
What are floor acrobatics to people that really don't know?
Um,
Those are handstands and
handstands would count. I love headstands, like forearm stands, things like that.
Yeah.
Just floor poses, floor balances, like floor work, especially in heels.
Yeah.
So everything's sexier in heels, right? So like I love like anything that would be considered acro,
nice. I saw you do some of the moves, and that seemed to wow the crowd, especially when you were doing like the leg swirl with your, being upside down.
Yeah.
That got a lot of people's attention, and the heels do top it off.
Mhm.
They make it look good.
Yeah.
So tell me about like your history of performing. Like when you started out, did you just want to be a performer, or did you want to be a champion, or did you want to compete?
Oh man. Oh, that was such just a weird staircase to like new doors. It's like things I didn't even realize.
Yeah.
My friend, when I was 18, decided to be a stripper, and so me and some other friends went to see her to support her.
Yeah.
And I was like, this is so weird, but like, so I watched her on stage. I was like, that was really cool. And so I was like, oh, but pole, that looks easy. And then I tried it. It's not easy.
No.
It's fun. It's not as easy as I thought. And so like I hate being bad at things. So I had to learn to pole dance. So I started dancing, and I got good at pole dancing, and I was like, well, what's the next step? So I started taking classes, and then I started instructing, and I was like, oh, I love instructing. Like and it was a totally different way to think of pole dancing and just being an instructor. And then I was like, well, what's next? So I started doing pole fitness competitions, and then from there I ran into featuring. Like I had never really. I was a
Now,
dancer. I was a stripper.
Who pulled you into featuring?
So it was Miss Pole Champ. So that's how I met my agent.
Yeah.
Was through his wife.
Okay.
Who was running Miss Pole Champ. So. Hey, Dave. So yeah, he got me into featuring, and I love it. I love it so much. Like,
Now, were you ever a dancer, or did you dabble in it ever?
yeah, dabbled. I loved ballet, but I was never. I was like on the dance team in high school, stuff like
Yeah.
that. But
Now, were you ever a stripper?
yes. Oh
Okay.
yeah.
Because I know there's a different line.
Oh yeah, no. Well, I mean,
Were you a house girl, or were you just kind of dabbling? Like you,
I was a house girl.
You were?
Yeah, no, I actually hate that distinction. Like, I respect the shit out of the house girls.
Yeah.
Like especially when I come to their club, like I have utmost respect for them. I don't feel like I'm doing, like, I get more time and I am allowed to do more things, but
Yeah.
I don't think what I'm doing is more valuable than what they're doing. So like, I appreciate when they have me in their house. Like, I look at this
Oh,
as
yeah.
like their house, and I respect that. So yeah, I was a house girl. But it was funny because at the time I had to keep it a secret because I wasn't allowed to do pole fitness competitions if they knew I was a stripper.
That's what I was getting
And
to.
it was just politics. It was
Yeah.
not because like, oh, strippers would be better, because really strippers wouldn't naturally be better in a pole fitness competition
Yeah.
because they're not formally trained like a lot of pole fitness competitors are. So there's really no advantage. It was just that they didn't like strippers. They were just really trying to separate like pole fitness from
Yeah.
sex work. They were trying to keep those two worlds separate. So when I was competing in pole fitness, I had to keep it like hush hush that I was also a stripper.
Yeah.
And which was really unfortunate. And times have changed a lot. It's not
Thankfully.
quite like, yes, really, like thankfully. It's
Yeah.
not quite the same anymore.
It doesn't have to be a divide and
But-
conquer.
Yeah. It was such an ugly time.
Well, what's great too is, and you hit on something there, that I think when features like yourself are in the clubs, it gives the women that work in the clubs a chance to see women do other things that maybe they can do and they just haven't thought about
yeah.
it. Or they say like, wow, I've never thought about getting up on the back of my neck and spreading my legs.
I loved features coming to the club when I was a
Yeah.
house dancer. And God, I remember the first girl that really inspired me that I was like, maybe I want to be a feature was Christina Aguchi.
Oh wow,
She
she was
was
the first one I met, literally the first one I met.
she was incredible. So, I mean, I was already very good on the pole. I was competing in pole fitness competitions. Like, I had a good rapport with everybody at the club that I worked at. Like, all the floor guys were kind to me, knew me well.
Yeah.
And when they heard that Christina Aguchi was coming, they're like, oh my God, Natasha, you're gonna love this girl. You're gonna
Oh,
love
yeah.
her. You
She was
have to
incredible.
watch her. Because I had seen some other girls that were porn stars and their talent is on film and maybe not necessarily performing.
Exactly.
So like, they would come and they would do their thing and it was good, but it wasn't like it wasn't what I did.
You had a
It
different
wasn't
vision.
different kind of performance, right?
Yeah.
So when they told me Christina was coming and that she was going to do a performance that I would like connect with, oh my gosh, she was so incredible and I was like, I want to do that. I was like, I want to do that.
Yeah.
The costumes, the props, the music, how it all went together. I was so inspired by her.
No, she was a good mentor, I guess. Because I was
Yeah.
going to ask you who your mentor was, and what friendships have been valuable to you as far as a performer. Like when you talk to people like your peers,
Mm-hmm.
if you want to run something past somebody, who's your go-to?
Oh man.
I know it's a tough one.
Well, yeah. Well, when I first started, before I knew what I was doing, it was Christina.
Yeah.
I would always ask her, and then Veda, a Veda kiss.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah, she was like the kindest, just the absolute kindest person, and she gave me a lot of insight, like into the industry. But honestly, I kind of.
And those women were honest with you and truthful.
They were, yeah.
Yeah.
And
So that's good.
but I fended for myself often.
Did you?
I fended for myself often. I learned a lot of things the hard way, but that's okay.
Yeah, no, hey. Now, not to put you on the spot, but I know last night you
Mm.
and I talked. Who do you think right now is somebody that we should be looking at, or that I should be looking at, or who's a performer that's somebody that really needs to be seen?
Well, there's a couple. But I know we were talking about Autumn Night.
Yeah.
Jesus, I was already following her on social media because I mean she's incredible, and then I had the luxury of getting to compete with her
I
at
was gonna say,
Expose.
did you get to compete with her?
Yes. Oh, and you know what she did? She did the Fifth Element.
Oh, did she?
Yes, that was one of her themes, and like I have the tattoo.
I was just going to ask you. I'm looking
I
at it
was-
as you're saying it. I'm like, there's a tattoo on your wrist.
She is not only like so incredibly talented, she is so cool and so sweet at the
Yeah.
same time. Like I spent a lot of time with her at Expose.
Well, that's good that you can throw them out there and say that it's somebody to watch. Because I mean, I always say that when somebody asks me about aerialists, you're one of the first names that comes up for me. I was like, you should take a look at Natasha Nova's stuff
Aw.
and see what she's up to.
Well, Autumn is kind of more new on like the feature, as far as the feature scene. She's not new as a performer. She's been performing
Yeah, see,
aerial.
she's been performing.
Yeah, but she's kind of more new on the feature side of it. But she's absolutely incredible. And then of course, if we're talking about aerialists, Charzane, duh.
Yeah, I still don't know how she does it when she's so high. I watch her smoke like 4 joints and get upside down on like handstands. I'm like, oh yeah, I couldn't even do that sober on a great day.
She's incredible. And then of course Phoenix Fires.
Yeah, it's funny. She's beating down my door because I promised her that I'd bring her back as like a house feature. Mm-hmm. And I've been trying to fit her in, and I feel so bad because she's just adorable.
Oh my gosh, she's so
And,
wonderful. Yeah.
But they all speak highly of you. So
Me?
Yeah. So don't think that you're just out there giving them kudos. They all know who you are. Because even when they saw that I booked you, they're like, "Oh God, yeah, okay, I understand."
Oh yay! I was so happy to come
I'm
back.
like, "All right, don't worry about it. You'll get there." I have another promise out there to Rachel Revolver. And
I haven't met her yet in person, but I follow. She's another one I follow on social media.
she's
She looks
supposedly really
amazing.
good.
Supposedly.
She in person, she looks fantastic.
Yeah.
I mean, when I saw her at the show, she came out, of course, in something that I'd like. I mean, she's very gothic at times. She came out in latex and like a leather outfit, and I was like, Jesus Christ, like, who is that girl? And they're like, that's Rachel Revolver. I'm like, yeah, I have to book her.
Okay, yeah.
So, let's talk about social media, since I kind of attacked you a little bit on being lazy after COVID. How do you feel about social media right now? What's your go-to? Like, you're on, obviously, Instagram, you're on Facebook.
Yeah, Instagram and Facebook are probably the ones that I'm most active in.
Yeah.
I think the biggest issue with me is like I am just so much more in person. Like I have a hard time like thinking to post things, you know.
Sex work ain't easy, baby.
No, I'm just a more in the moment kind of girl, you know, like.
So are you? Okay, so what I know of you, are you sexy all the time? Are you sexy, like, do you have some downtime where you're just like, I'm not feeling it?
You know, I would say I have some downtime, but then people are still hitting on me, so maybe not.
Hey,
like,
that's a good thing.
I was like, God, I was outside. I had a sports bra on, and like.
Shane, would you hit on her? All right. Okay, good. At least we got a yes this time.
All right. Well, so I'm outside. I'm doing like some chicken shit, literal chicken shit, like chicken chores, mucking chicken shit. I've got like some coveralls on and a sports bra, and like my hair is like in a messy bun, and I'm wearing muck boots, like literally chicken shit just all over me, right? And I'm carrying bags out to the front of my house, and my neighbor stops by, and he's like, "Oh, I hear chickens sometimes. Like, do you have the chickens?" I'm like, "Duh, yeah, but yeah, hi, nice to meet you." And we're talking, and I think he's just being neighborly, and then he's like, "So, can I take you out sometime?" And I'm like, I pause. Because I like look down at myself and I'm like, I'm literally covered in feces. Like, well, not covered, but like I am not cute right now.
Maybe that's what he's into.
I don't know. So maybe I'm accidentally hot and I don't know. I
think some people don't know that they're giving off that vibe all the time.
So, you know, maybe.
Here's where I'm going to beat you up. Why aren't you on OnlyFans? What's going on?
Oh, man.
You weren't expecting that, were you?
And it's just like, so.
Not that I mean that every beautiful woman in this industry should be on OnlyFans.
No, some people are so good at it. And
like I said, it's not easy because every day you have to think of something to do.
I respect the shit out of people that can, even like smaller than OnlyFans, even just social media posts, when they like can take the time to set up a light, set up a camera, to think about their background, to think about what they're wearing, and like make that video or make that post. Like, it's a lot of work, and I realized like it was just maybe not something I enjoyed as much. Like I love this. Like, I like being with the people, and I'm just better at that. Like,
well, I'll tell you this. Oh, go ahead.
I bet if you did like you're explaining like your neighbor hit on you when you're all dressed in, your outerwear.
Oh, if you did some casual stuff.
Saying if you put up a camera while you're out, doing stuff with your kids.
See?
Yeah, no, when I was so that like I wasn't good at coming up with like, okay, I'm gonna do this.
So for everybody that couldn't hear, Shane was asking Natasha if she just set up kind of a camera for these like moments in time where people were just very casual, that would work. So go ahead.
Yeah, no, I honestly like, see, I would enjoy that because I do some pretty entertaining things probably. But like setting up, thinking of like, okay, I'm gonna be in this room, I'm gonna wear this lingerie, I'm gonna do like, that's a lot of extra thinking. But like I mean like I garden in a bikini. Like, I want to get some sun, and I've got like a nice privacy fence. So like when I'm like digging holes and all bent over in like a thong bikini, like that would be good kind of content. Like I just pressure washed my whole house and like my driveway in a bikini and muck boots, and like honestly that was probably kind of fun. That just sounds
like a beginning of a porn.
And it was so funny. So these poor meter guys, like they come and they knock on my fence, but I'm pressure washing, I can't hear anything, so they open it and they kind of peek in, and I'm like, oh, I mean, and my bikini was too small, like whoop, like titties everywhere, right?
So she got the tight.
And I'm like, oh, hi. And they're like, hey, we just need to check your meter, like at the back of the house. I'm like, are you afraid of chickens? And they're like, No, like, okay, well then just go ahead, like, so they have to go run through my
See-
chickens. But I'm like fully in a bikini with this big pressure washer, like,
Where were women like you when I was growing up? I might have turned out completely different.
But so I don't know, I might be able to make a really fun, funny
Nobody was gardening in a
OnlyFans.
bikini when I was young.
Damn, now I'm getting it.
Yeah, I am that neighbor that you like are
I'd-
peeking over the fence
I would have had a
to
whole
see what
different
they're
life.
doing. But yeah, that was actually recent. This summer, funny. They were just the meter readers just needed to look at my meter, and here I am.
They're back the very next day.
Yeah,
We need to check the meter.
your meter was broken.
Yeah, and you know what's funny? I don't know if anybody pressure washes very often, but you're pressure washing in the summer. It's hard work. My favorite thing to do when I'm pressure washing is I will take the pressure washer and just shoot it up into the wind. So all the
And you're not filming this?
oh, it's
All
no,
right.
I'm not filming it. But it's
all right,
hot.
bitch,
It's
calm
hot.
down.
So I need so
She's-
I'll just shoot the
I have
pressure
a-
washer up into the wind, and the wind
I have
will
a whole visual.
mist me, and it's so nice.
Like all the teenage kids running down the street, like Natasha's out pressure washing.
You know what's even cooler, like a different perspective? If you put up like ring cameras around.
Well, I
your
have
Oh.
I have cameras around the house. Yeah.
I'll see.
Yeah.
Being outside and post it as just like you got
Shane, it sounds like you're working your way to Kentucky
I mean,
for a day of filming. He likes to travel.
Yeah.
Now my boom's gonna fall down.
Hmm.
There we go.
Spend it. Spend it all.
Just- There we go.
I got you.
There we go. Ah, there. Oh, see, thank you. He knows how to handle it.
Mm-hmm.
So, beyond you sprinkling yourself with a rainbow of water,
Yeah.
glistening in the sun, why are you pressure washing the house? Do you do that with the jeweled butt plug in?
I mean, you never know.
Because I did see the jeweled butt plug last night.
Oh, I'm a professional
It-
butt plug model.
I know, it
Yeah.
shimmered, and somebody said to me, I think she has something in her ass. I'm like, yeah, go take a look at it. But it's going to require you some money. And he was like, I'll stay back here. I'm like, whatever. So, do you have any feuds with anybody or have you had like one person that you've just been kind of like at battle with all the time in your career, or that you can honestly say like, bitch, back up? Or is there someone you just really can't talk about?
I don't even know if I want to. I think.
Go for it.
No, I think everybody knows who I would be talking about if I said anything.
I don't.
Oh yeah, no.
I'm ready.
I am not even interested. It's finally
Oh, let
I
it
don't
go.
have to hear about it anymore.
ready.
Oh no.
Come on.
No, I don't want to open that can of
Come on.
worms again.
Come on.
But
Real
most
quick.
people watching this will probably know what I'm talking
me a
about.
first name.
'cause I wasn't super public about it, but she sure the fuck was. So
Wow. How do I not know this?
maybe you don't follow her. Because see, I didn't say anything.
Oh, come on. You're killing me now.
I know. I just,
Shit.
I try to be professional, and I just.
Is it somebody I would know?
Probably not. I mean, you would know. You would know if I said her name, but you probably have
Damn.
never seen her perform.
Damn. Now you've really got me.
I know.
I'm circling back to that. Maybe
Ah.
maybe you'll forget and just slip up.
Maybe I just need more Chardonnay. I don't know.
Yeah. Shane, get the pressure washer out so we can spray her down a little. So since we won't get that out of you, what do you think would be your next feud?
My next feud. I don't know.
If you were looking for a fight,
I generally
where would you look first?
I generally like everyone. I generally get
Yeah.
along with, and
Because
I
I'm going to
mean-
get to the next thing is guns. So that,
Okay. Well, I'm not going to shoot
my,
anyone.
This is my
hopefully.
segue. No, I always wonder because when people ask me that, I'm always like, I'm always looking for the next fight, but not really. But I'm
Man,
I'm always gearing up for it.
For the most part, honestly, all of us features, we get along more than you would think.
Yeah, you do.
Most of us really have a deep respect for each other,
Yeah.
and because we all go through it. We're in the trenches together. We know how hard these competitions are. We know that they're subjective. So even if you do your absolute best, maybe the judges like blondes. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? Like, and so you can't take things like that personally, because
No.
it is so subjective. And most of us, like, we really get along. And so I don't like to ever throw anybody under the bus. But occasionally there's some drama. You put a bunch of women together, especially with some alcohol mixed in.
Now, is there a competition that you won't involve yourself in just because of specific things, or?
Yes.
Yeah. No, and are you allowed to talk about it, or?
Oh, I'm allowed to.
Yeah. Or
But
you
but
care not to?
I will not
Yeah.
speak of
I
it.
always wondered, because I always have my own thoughts about some of the competitions where I look at them and I think, I know who either owns the magazine or who owns the performance space, and I think, I already know that this is really not this is not a competition. This is
Yeah.
this is a show, and we're just
Yeah.
going to get the results, and they're not going to be the real results, and I'm okay with that at this
Yeah.
point. I used to bitch and complain and think, okay,
If they're, I like, and you know, I've ran some competitions. Did you know that?
well, I know that's why I was getting at the.
Mine are, you get your scorecard, like you get your scorecard ahead of time. You
Yeah.
know what you're being scored on, and I hand it back to you before the next one, like before the next performer's on, just because I like transparency, and I mean, I want, you know,
We have some background noise. I apologize.
Oh, it's okay.
Ali could talk in his normal voice, not his stadium voice.
But you know, I really appreciate when a competition has like full transparency, and I
Yeah.
want to know what I'm being judged on, and that I can have win if I exceed in those areas, like whatever those areas are. I don't think it's fair when it's like a popularity contest, or you know, or like a politics, like, oh well, this person did this thing, and so
Sure.
they deserve, like.
Well, and I always
I-
look too. You guys have to haul a lot of shit
Oh my
around
God,
all over. It's not
from our
easy.
perspective, doing competitions is very expensive. Not only
Yeah.
are you losing out a weekend that you could be working, you know, and entertaining, but you know, it's a huge cost on yourself. Like everybody wants to see a new show. They don't want to
Yeah.
see a show you've already done. So like we're already spending $1,500 just to create a new, fresh show for a big competition. And I mean, like that alone, and then you're talking about traveling and props, and it's.
And talking
a
about
lot of
traveling, you're a
work.
driver.
Oh, yeah, I like to drive.
You like
yeah.
to drive. How long did
I-
it take you to get here?
Oh, like only the GPS said 8 hours, about 9.5.
Yeah, it's probably
This
right
was
when you
actually
got-
pretty close.
Probably when you got 20 miles outside of DC, it said another hour.
Yeah.
'Cause
Traffic.
it's-
You know what was nice though? Was like I just drove through West Virginia, and there's no big cities really in West Virginia,
Yeah.
so it was like pretty.
Yeah, that's an easy pass through
Yeah,
there.
pretty easy. So.
Well, you looked fantastic when you got here. I was surprised that you nailed it. You did your shows, and then even when I said you can go back to the hotel early, you're like, no, I'll stick it out. And
Yeah,
I looked and I was
hang
like,
out.
she's still here. It's 3:00 in the morning. Okay,
Yeah.
I'll give it to you. So let's talk about a couple more things. I know that you like guns.
Yes, like
You pose with them a lot. I think you pose more with them than men.
for sure. Yeah, I would say yeah.
Do you have an affinity for one or the other, handguns as opposed to rifles, or?
I don't discriminate against guns. That'll be
Okay.
clear.
Oh.
But as far as like what kind of training or what I use more would be handguns. Just because, you know, I'm not in the military, right? Like I'm a civilian walking around. I don't generally carry with me on my body a rifle, right?
Yeah.
So generally I have a handgun with me. So I am probably more comfortable with and use more often handguns, Glocks specifically.
I was going to ask you. Okay, so you have
I'm a
a
Glock
favorite.
girl.
Yes.
Yeah. You know, and there's honestly there's a lot of great handguns. Like I'm not hating on any others, but Glock is extremely reliable. I have ran them through the mud and dirt and dust and debris. I've actually never had my Glock jam wildly, and I've had every other kind of gun that I've had of like other brands. They've jammed.
Yeah.
But my Glock, God, I can get that thing filthy.
I bet you
And
can.
it still goes off. So.
My go-to is
Still
still the
goes bang.
Mossberger shotgun. I still
Yeah.
think that just stops somebody from the 4th floor down. I just always say, come on up. Just come on up. But, so are you pretty proficient as well? Are you a marksman?
Really, there's different kinds of training.
Yeah.
Bonnie Rodden, I'm gonna give her a shout out.
I was going to say,
freaking love
'cause
her.
we were talking about her.
Yeah, like she trains with Terran Tactical.
Yeah.
I've seen her do that. That's really marksmanship. Like,
Yeah, I was going to say that's what she's into.
yeah, and so with the kind of training that I did was just slightly different. I mean, marksmanship is important, period. Like you want to hit your target and you
Yeah.
want to hit nothing other than your target, right? So it's still really important to have like a nice grouping to hit the thing you intend to hit, right? But I did more like contractor training. Like that was what I was into, is
Yeah.
contractor classes. So like lots of moving drills and moving and shooting, and not that the two things are too different from each other, but just
No, just different discipline.
Yeah, like if I was shooting at a target and my goal is to be moving and taking cover and things like that, whatever the drill is, as long as I'm hitting in the heart box, hey, good, you did it,
Yeah.
right? But it's not necessarily like how centered, like how tight my grouping was, as long as everything was where it should be. So a little bit, but I'm still a pretty good marksman. I mean,
Sure. No, I watch your videos. So let's go. Last thing I'm going to ask you about is this. Two things. So I know that you did a swingers cruise. So
Yeah.
we'll talk about that because I think we discussed it before. But I want to know about the swingers cruise itself. And
Okay.
you being there as a single woman, and then on top of that, if you were to get into to porn, just on the if come chance maybe, or if you just thought, okay, well, let's try it. Would it be solo stuff, girl on girl, or would it be guy and girl? So let's start with the swingers cruise first,
Okay.
and then we'll get to the last question. Let's see
Okay.
where Natasha Nova goes sexually.
That was a fun experience.
Yeah.
So the cruise itself is almost normal as far as like
Almost
inside,
normal.
Well, like obviously it's not a family cruise. There's no little kids running around,
Yeah.
right? It's all adults.
Adult babies.
And any of like the nudity or anything that you might think of as like extra, like different
Yeah.
for this type of cruise is going to be on the top deck, out in the open, or they have playrooms.
Do you have to bring someone with you, or did you go alone?
If you're sorry guys, if you're a man, you have to have a partner with you.
Yes.
If you are a woman, you can go by yourself.
That's right.
Or you.
Anti-gay.
Well,
Bullshit.
I thought that it could be two men, but it just had to be a partner. I'm
Yeah.
not sure.
No, I've always heard it's very anti-gay. No. I've always heard the swingers thing is very female-oriented.
It is female-oriented, but there was a.
Contingency of gays.
Well, no, there was a playroom specifically for
for men.
people who liked the same genders.
Oh, yeah.
So I mean, like it was men and women,
Yeah.
but like it would be sometimes be straight couples that wanted to swap that way.
Yeah, that's interesting.
So that there was a playroom specifically for that. Man, it was just so cool. Honestly, everybody is so open-minded, and also not pushy.
Yeah.
So the coolest thing I thought was when you first get on the cruise, you get this little baggie and it has bracelets in it, and all the bracelets are color coded. So you put on the bracelets with whatever thing you're interested in or you're comfortable with, like soft swap or full swap or like gay or lesbian would be the same colored bracelet. But so like I thought that was just so cool. So people know when they approach you,
I'd have,
if you're even in
lineup of bracelets.
yeah,
I'd be like
if you're
shifting
even
them around
interested
as I walk down the hall.
in something like that they're interested in. So honestly, but I really didn't do much.
Yeah.
But just the fact that you got to be like naked around a bunch of other very liberated people, like
Yeah.
naked. And
I just always want to know what the fights look like there. Like
the fights.
Yeah.
Oh, I have not seen a fight.
somebody out in the hallway fighting.
Yeah.
Like what's the fight really about?
You got to be clothed in the hallway.
His dick was bigger than mine. You liked it more. Or
I've never seen so many interesting piercings until I was
That's-
on the swingers cruise. I was like, oh, I didn't know that could be pierced.
See, and that's strange. I'm not a body shamer, but every time I'm at those events, whether they're gay or straight, I always think these are the people that really should not be naked all over the place. But that's my own personal
Yeah.
probably internal problem that I project onto other people.
Man, I like the confidence. I
that's it.
appreciate the confidence.
I think that's good of you to say that, because that's, I think, the freeing moment of it is that, I have friends that host orgies and other things, and I always look at it like it takes a certain individual to be mentally free or to be expressive enough to just show up and be there and do it. And some people will never do it, never experience it in their life. And that's something to be said. So I'm sure Swingers Cruise is really.
It was definitely a really cool experience, and and I would tell people, like, you don't have to be a part of that lifestyle. Like, you can be just more of like a nudist or maybe into voyeurism, because the playrooms are all kind of separate.
That's my escape room.
Yeah.
Voyeurism. Like, if somebody starts to back me up, I'm like, I'm just a voyeur.
Yeah.
I'm like, that'll get me right out of it.
But like the playrooms are all very separate. So like mostly it's just like getting the freedom to be naked whenever you want,
Now, do you think
like,
you would go do one on an individual basis, or just as the way you went, that was enough? That gave you enough insight?
Yeah, no, I wanted to do one every year, just like it costs money. So
yeah.
Like I would be on one every month if I could. Like it was a lot of fun.
I'm sure.
Yeah.
So my last thing, let's talk about you just sexually, since I know you are sexual. If we did push you, if Shane pushes you this summer to film, would it be Natasha Nova solo? Would it be Natasha Nova with another woman? Or would it be Natasha Nova with a man or with multiple men?
Gosh, okay, so
I had to throw the last one in there.
Solo.
It has to be a gangbang.
That could happen. And I do really appreciate a woman's body. Like.
Okay.
I like that a lot.
Good.
The difficulty with me with men is like I would have to actually like him. Like
I was going to ask you, do you have to like him?
I am very sexual.
Yeah.
But I'm not a great faker. I think you would be able to.
So porn's not cut out for you.
Like if I was like not into the guy, I would be like, okay.
We're gonna do this in the anally, so I don't have to look at you.
I would like. I feel like it would show in my face that I wasn't into it, and so that's like, because I have no problem with porn, but
Natasha's first porn has no headshots, just a tall body, with an occasional frown. Or look of surprise.
Nervous laugh, right?
Yeah, nervous laugh.
Like I've recorded quite a few videos with people that I've dated, and they're very sexy. But I don't think I could. Gosh, I just don't think I could do it with a stranger. Like I need chemistry, and like that's what turns me on. Really.
Well, I'll leave you on that because I think that's a good point to make. Is that everybody is not cut out for porn.
No.
But porn is obviously respectable.
Oh yeah.
And
no. Gosh.
You know where you want to be. And I think that's healthy for everybody in this industry to know that everybody doesn't have to be at one end. Everybody can be in their spot and feel comfortable with their body or what they love or what they enjoy. And that's what makes all of us very special in this industry, is to get that respect. That I don't want to pressure you to be a porn star.
Right. Well, and sometimes like girls will ask me questions and I'm like, you should do what you're comfortable with. Like what makes you happy. And like, there's no judgment if somebody does something that I'm not comfortable with, right? They do more or less or whatever their thing is. But like everyone should do like what really truly makes them happy.
Well, I know you have to get your hoverboard charged for tonight because you gliding through the club last night was fun. Shane, you're gonna have to cover her a lot. She's on a hoverboard.
Yeah.
So 2 months ago we had somebody in a baby car
driving that's
through.
Fun.
Lauren Lotus, she was driving around. So you have a hoverboard this time, and I know you have to go polish that butt plug. So it's been a pleasure as always, and I love having you here. I hope tomorrow you get some time to run around the city a little bit before you take off.
Yeah, I'm gonna go harass the president.
Yes, good. You're only a block and a half away. But I love you dearly, and I wish you the best. And
I love
one
you
thing
dearly.
that I have to do.
I'm so happy to be back.
I'm glad.
Yeah.
And you owe me one thing though that I'm going to ask you.
Oh gosh.
When I come to Kentucky, we're going to do at least 1 or 2 stops on the Bourbon Trail.
Oh, done.
Okay.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right. Cool.
But in trade though, you're gonna hold a chicken.
I will hold a chicken.
Okay. All right.
I will even gather the eggs.
There you go. Okay.
Natasha Nova, thank you so much. I'll see you downstairs.
Thank you.
All right,
Yes.
bye. Thanks,
He's-
everyone.
He's going to see my downstairs.
Yes. I'm going to
Downstairs.
see your coop. Your little chicken coop.
Take me to the garden of your